So this week is most probably going to feel very slow for many of you who managed to play Anthem and want to see more of it, especially after the last day of the VIP demo, which went way smoother than when it started. For those of you who did manage to play uninterrupted, I hope you had fun. As for those who didn't, well, I've got some very good news for you guys and you might want to hear this. But before doing that, I do want to mention about the Anthem giveaway that I'm still doing, and it's for the full version of the game on the platform of your choice, and I'll be announcing the winner a couple of days before the game's release, so make sure to follow the links down in the description box as well as in the pinned post. Pick whichever you want to, because they will both point you out towards the giveaway. Now, I've talked about these extra rewards the VIP participants will be getting in the full game, which come in the form of the blue vinyl that was initially announced, as well as the green one that was later added as an extra token of appreciation for all of the trouble you have had connecting. I know a lot of people are asking themselves right now, how are they even going to be able to redeem these if they weren't even able to connect to the servers in the first place? Well, if you're one of those people, then rest assured, as BIOWARE is working on a solution, and according to Michael Gamble over on Twitter, if you pre-ordered but were otherwise unable to participate in the weekend demo, then they are looking in ways to grant you the bonus vinyls, so don't worry. And yeah, there you have it. While we don't know exactly how this will work out, it should be easy for BIOWARE to determine if you had account access to the demo, or by simply checking the date of your pre-order and then reward you that in game. I will say though that I am expecting for this to be done by contacting support in some way, unless of course they find a way to automate all of this. Honestly, I think this is a good thing, and I am glad that they decided to reward the loyalty furthermore. Now, in terms of optimization and bug fixing, unfortunately there's likely not going to be much of a difference for the next weekend, so whatever performance problems you might have had, expect them to also be present in the open demo, well outside of course of the connection and login issues that have been said to be vastly worked upon until then. Fortunately enough, the main game build does have a lot of the bug fixes. It also obviously has more features, so at the very least I'm glad that one is going to be okay. On top of that, we'll also get access to all of the Javelins in the demo regardless of the levels, so not just the first two as it was first intended. And many of you might have seen on Monday that all Javelins were available all of a sudden on your account, and that was not some bug but rather an intended reward from BIOWARE for enduring all of the technical problems. It's a shame it only happened in the last 5 hours of the demo, but at the very least we're going to get to see these at the end of this week, which I'm super excited for. Now, since we're speaking about all of these events, there's also one currently going over on in Tokyo, and it seems that somebody was lucky enough to get a legendary storm component to drop, and here I have a high resolution picture of the screen that somebody took, and you can see how powerful these high rarity items can be. Roughly from epic to masterwork and upwards is where you will see these modifiers that can completely turn around your entire build. In this case, the inscription not only brings a 50% increased damage and a lower recharge rate by 20% of your abilities, but there is also an additional 50% damage buff on the Q skill as long as the E1 is still recharging. Obviously these buttons are for the keyboard and mouse, so it's going to be equivalent for the controllers as well. So just having this item means 100% additional damage increase for one of your abilities, while the other one is going to still be at 50%, and this is something you can expect from a legendary item in Anthem, and why the higher tier combat is going to be much more different compared to the normal ones or the lower levels. It's basically going to be insane, and this one also dropped on the Storm of all the classes, which is also probably the highest damage dealer currently in the game. So just from the top of my head, to give you an example, you could use a primer skill on the E button, such as for example the Frost Shards, and when using this you will cause the 50% additional damage buff to turn on, and then cast the second ability on the Q button and do something like a lightning strike, and you're looking at not only the combo damage but also the raw damage from the lightning strike ability, which is also going to get even further beyond buffed, and that is already insane. I can't even wait to see what types of builds can be made around these special legendary items. Now, speaking of the Storm Javelin, after the past weekend it seems that the class preference of the community has shifted quite a bit. While before the demo most people favored classes roughly equally, with the exception of the Interceptor, which was like the least favorite back then, the newest poll made by Michael psychological gamble shows that the Interceptor as well as the Storm are the top favorites, with the Storm of course leading it by far, being almost half at the time of making this video. Personally, I have unlocked the Storm immediately after getting to level 12 in the demo, and I will say it immediately felt powerful against groups of enemies. I was able to clear out enemies really quickly and much more easily compared to my Ranger, for example. Also, staying up for much longer in the air feels very satisfying, to the point that it became difficult for me to get used to playing the Ranger again, which has limited air time. Hopefully this doesn't mean that the nerf is coming for the Storm Javelin, because currently its effectiveness at dealing damage is clearly playing a role to why it's so preferred right now in the polls. So yeah, hopefully that doesn't happen. Finally, I'll also mention a quick Twitter reply from Ben Irving on the subject of gaining XP after the max level has been achieved. So after level 30, what happens with the extra XP you'll obviously get once you achieve this level? Some online games out there will make the extra XP count towards additional currencies or secondary stat systems, but in Anthem there's no definitive answer yet, though there is definitely something planned right now, and it will be post-launch. So whatever it is, rest assured that it's going to be in the game, and I know this was something asked by a lot of people. BioWare seems to be working on something, we don't know yet, but do expect it to come in some form of reward. But that's all I have for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, a like and a subscribe would be super appreciated, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, so peace.